You've embraced hard work and you achieved success. When it comes to your financial future, there's no leaving it to chance, but there is a lot to consider. Estate tax, market volatility, income tax, Social Security, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm Southwest Florida's financial planner, Alfie Townsend, and protecting and growing your nest egg is my business. Coming up on today's show,
a real-life investor story. Should the national debt concern you? Strategies to protect your assets, and much more.
Welcome to Saving the Investor with certified financial planner, investment advisor, and insurance professional Alfie Townsend, president of Advantage Retirement Group. Alfie is a published author, radio show host, speaker, and industry leader.
Why do you use an annuity? A lot of people use it for the wrong thing.
He works with retirees and pre-retirees to build and protect their nest egg and offers his experience to help those concerned about financial independence in retirement. If you've got questions about retirement, Saving the Investor starts now.
Good morning, Southwest Florida, and welcome to Saving the Investor. And my name is Craig Wolf, and I am alongside certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend here at the Advantage Retirement Group. Alfie, we're going to talk about a personal investor story. I know it's not just about the investments, it's also about the plan, and it's about the products as well. You've got a good story. Share it with us.
Yeah, I always say is a lot of times people come in and they don't know really if they're making the right choices. So this one came in for a second opinion, which was a great thing. His advisor, what he wanted to do was take his large IRA, this couple. He had a large IRA and he was going to put it in what we call an immediate annuity, okay? And he had other IRAs too. So what this would have created was an income immediately, and it was a large income. But I was explaining to him that the reason if you don't want to do that is because now you have this big income from this $1 million annuity. It was going to be like $70,000 a year, but it did not count for his other IRAs that he had. So if, let's just say he had $2 million of IRAs, $1 million in immediate annuity, he was having to take $70,000 out of that account because it was an immediate annuity. And then he dies, it's over. He lost control of it. But his other $1 million, what happened to that? He still had to take money out of that one too. So he was being taxed at about $30,000 to $40,000 a year more than he needed to be. So we gave him I showed him the technique that we would use, and he said, why didn't they tell me about that? And it always comes down to because they were really just, that person was just selling a product. He didn't really look at the whole plan. Right. He was just selling a product. So I always say if you have large IRAs, there's things you can do with it that would really reduce taxes, maybe pay some taxes now and have tax-free money later. But there's always going to be a technique if it's regarding taxes and IRAs. You have to be real careful with those, Craig, because I always call it a ticking time bomb, because that's your biggest taxable. These are accounts that you got a tax break when you were working. But now it kept building up. You might have only put in $300,000, and you got a write-off on $300,000, but it grew to $1 million. So now you're paying tax on $1 million. So that wasn't too bad the government thought about that and said, this is a pretty good deal. Much better deal for them than it is for us.
So it's more about just the investments and the products and the planning. I mean, you're really in the people business, and I've gotten to know some of your clients, and there's just sort of a different vibe here. Again, we're not being objective. We're doing our show, Saving the Investor, but there is a different feel in this office than you might get with some other financial planners.
Well, that's why we really named the show years and years ago, like 10 years ago almost. Saving the Investor was really saving the investor from making mistakes. And this was one that, he was about to do it because he didn't know any better. But after I showed him the taxes that he was going to pay doing this technique, he said, why didn't they tell me about this? And so there's ways to really handle IRAs and other investments in a tax efficient way and to grow your money. You want to grow your money and still make sure that you have things that can't go down too. So, we do a combination of everything.
All right, great story to kick things off this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
We are glad you're with us on Saving the Investor on this Sunday morning. Stick around, there's plenty more to come.
You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
When you're nearing your retirement, it's important that your plan include the proper steps to make an efficient and effective transition. There's a lot to consider. Will your income plan meet your lifestyle? How should you reallocate your assets? Is your withdrawal plan tax efficient? Well, practice makes perfect, but you only retire once. So how do you know you're making the right decisions and avoiding costly mistakes? Well, that's simple. Call Alfie Townsend, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional. Alfie has over 30 years of experience helping people just like you transition into retirement. So be one of the first 5 callers and receive your complimentary retirement transition review. Call 239-747-1080. There's no cost and no strings attached. Your retirement transition review includes key deadline schedules, asset reallocation guides, income plan analysis, and tax-efficient withdrawal strategies. Be one of the first 5 callers now, and this review is yours at no cost. Call 239-747-1080. You only retire once, so let's get this right. Call Alfie now.
Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your cup of coffee this morning. I want to talk about the national debt. This is a big problem that we have here in America, and it has gotten really higher and higher. And I don't see an end to it anytime soon. So what does that mean to you? What does that mean to your money? What does that mean to your buying power? What does that mean mostly for your taxes? I feel, and it's not just me feeling it, I travel all over the country, and I always talk about what other people around the country, what their clients' concerns are when we get together with other advisors. And the thing is really taxes. Taxes. You know it's going to go up, especially if we have a high debt the way that we have right now. Taxes are going to go up in the future. A new administration, it's a perfect storm to raise those taxes. So what should you be doing now? Well, we should really look at what we call a Roth conversion. We have things that are I feel even a little bit better than the Roth because it can pass on tax-free. You can take money out tax-free. But if you think about it, if you do a Roth conversion, should you do it or should you not do it? Well, we have a program, we have new software here that you want to take advantage of. We put your 1040 forms in there, and it lets us know how much you can convert without really throwing you into that next bracket that's crazy for you. And it also looks at your Social Security. How much is it going to add to your Social Security if you're on Social Security? If you're not on Social Security, it's that we don't have to worry about, so that's even better. But we want to look at everything, and this program will really help that out. So if you're worried about future taxes, estate taxes, we can, we do some planning on that too with the attorneys that we deal with. So we want to look at everything when it's talking about taxes, how we can reduce your taxes, maybe now, pay a little bit more now, but reduce it in the future, because the more we can reduce it in the future, the higher that return is going to be, because taxes are definitely going up.
Ready to live your retirement dreams? Then it's time to meet Alfie, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner. Schedule your complimentary retirement income plan review now. Give Alfie a call, 239-747-1080. You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
Are you concerned about creating your dream retirement? Well, I've got just the book for you. And unlike most books on investing, it doesn't require a huge investment of your time. It's not filled with financial jargon and difficult to understand explanations. It's an easy read filled with valuable insights. So valuable, in fact, that everyone who's soon to be or is already retired should have a copy on their shelf. And today it can be yours at absolutely no cost. It's Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway, written by Alfie Townsend, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, radio show host, and TV personality. Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway highlights real stories about actual people, illustrating what they've done wrong and what they've done right. The strategies in this book can help retirees and those soon to be retired make the right decisions and avoid costly mistakes. So if you save for retirement, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway is a book you will want to have. And you can get a complimentary copy today simply by being one of the first 5 callers. The number to dial is 239-747-1080. Again, that's 239-747-1080. There are no strings attached, so if you're interested in living your dream retirement, you've got nothing to lose and quite possibly a lot to gain. So call 239-747-1080. Your complimentary copy of Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway is waiting.
Welcome to another segment of Team Talk. I'm Mary Thompson in studio with Alfie Townsend, our founder and president. And Alfie, recently you met with a couple, and they seem to be very emotional. And I think right now there is a lot of emotion when it comes to investing. But let's talk about that.
Yes, this couple, it wasn't too long ago, they came in and they went in our conference room and we started talking, and I said, well, what brought you in there? And they said, our emotions are really making us make bad decisions with our investing. So they said that to me. They said, our emotions are making us bad decisions. And I said, well, what are you doing? They said, well, we really watch 14 hours of news a day.
That's a lot.
So they're watching 14 hours of news every day, and then they're trying to handle their money at the same time, and they're doing an awful job, they said, because emotion is playing in. And that's why they came in to see us. They said, you know what, we want to enjoy our retirement, and this is not really something we want to do. And what happens a lot of times is that they had so much money carryover losses from investments that they did, and it just tells you that emotion is probably one of the key reasons why people that are do-it-yourselfers, it's hard for them to do a great job because they're too close to it.
Right. And have you found that a lot of people during the whole coronavirus factor that they got very emotional and then got out of the market, and then we're trying to time the market, and how do you help them with that? If you go back to 2020, you're looking at 2020 was a year that was probably the most emotional. And I've been in this business since 1983. I've never seen it this emotional for people, for investors, for the money managers. I mean, it was hard on everybody. When you talk about the market going down 30% in 22 days, that is very emotional, and you have to be you have to set yourself apart from that times like that, because we're going to have times like hopefully not anytime soon. The 2020 was one of those years we always wanted to forget, but we have to learn by what history. That's why you can't take history away, because you have to learn from history. And some of the things that you might have been doing in 2020, you would not want to repeat that again. Right. So this couple came in and we were able to help them. And they felt so much more relieved. And one of the things is people have emotions because they might not know their true risk number. Right. So we went through our risk process, and they did what we call the riskalyze, and they went through it and they came up with a number, and they were not in the right portfolio to start with when they came in. So now they are. So I told them this is what to expect in good and bad times, and they're comfortable with that. So it is very important to understand your risk and take the emotion out of investing. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, if you'd like to meet with Alfie and take the emotion out of investing, give us a call.
You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
Remember the Wall Street bailouts? Those same big banks and financial firms have been fined billions for misleading customers. And now they want to manage your retirement savings. Why would you trust them? I'm Alfie Townsend, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional. My values are Main Street, not Wall Street. As an independent advisor, I don't work for shareholders, I work for you. If you want a fresh start with a local advisor, give me a call today.
We all have a picture of our perfect retirement, but how do we get there? At Advantage Retirement Group, helping you get there is our business. We're passionate about getting to know you, learning your hopes and dreams. Why? So we can work with you to achieve them. How? By maximizing the money you've saved, minimizing the dollars you pay in taxes and the risk you are exposed to, and creating a retirement income plan that ensures your savings lasts a lifetime. We're thankful to work with so many wonderful people, and we'd love to work with you too. Call Advantage Retirement Group today for your no-cost, no-obligation evaluation. 239-747-1080. Your retirement is too important to put off. Call now. 239-747-1080.
You've got questions, and Alfie has the answers that will keep you on the retirement fairway.
I recently moved to Florida because I'm working remotely now, and I retire in 3 years. What adjustments should I be making now to my portfolio?
That's a real good question. You're about to retire in 3 years. I look at it this way. I want to look at your whole, I can't just answer that question without knowing a little bit more information, but most likely what I would tell you is be a little bit more conservative. If you only have 3 years left before you retire, I want to make sure you have an income plan in place. I want to make sure your expenses are under control. I want to make sure if you have a pension, if you don't have a pension, we might want to create a pension for you. These are all things, if you're about to retire or soon to be retired or are retired, these are things we want to really look at your whole picture to make that final judgment call on you.
I'm 57 and I inherited an IRA from my father. It's about $1 million. I'm still working and I'm wondering, what should I do with it?
That's fantastic. I'm sorry about your father, but he saved a lot of money, it sounds like, and he gave you a big inheritance. If this inheritance happened, after 2020, what's happening is you have to take this money out over a 5-year period, and you have 5 years to have that money out. It used to be people that really inherited IRA from 2019 and sooner, they had many years to really take that money out. Now you have to take it out fast. You don't get to stretch it out like you used to. So there are some major tax problems, but the good thing is that you do not have that 10% penalty because you're under age 59 and a half. That is eliminated when you have an inherited IRA. So that's a little bit of good news for you, but you do have to really consider doing some planning because you have to take it out by 5 years.
I've been hearing a lot about super Roths lately. Can you explain what they are and what makes them different from a regular Roth?
So you hear about Roth, and then you hear about a super Roth. Well, what's that? Is that like supersizing your Happy Meal? No, what a super Roth is just a term. It's not even a Roth. What it is taking money out of your IRA and paying it into a life insurance policy over a certain amount of years. Now, why it's called a super Roth is it does a couple different features that a Roth doesn't do. Number one, it will give you a tax-free death benefit from day one. Number two, it gives you money that you can take out down the road tax-free in a form of a loan. But the last thing it does is it gives you long-term care benefits. A lot of them, not all of them. Some of them will give you long-term care benefits. That is a added feature that you don't pay for, but it's part of the program. So even though it's not a term, super Roth is just really a made-up word, but it really does work better than a Roth in some cases, not all cases. So we'd have to compare the two to see if it makes sense for you.
You are watching Saving the Investor, where your money matters.
If you're like most of us, you don't want more of your hard-earned dollars going to the government. But President Trump's tax cuts may be on the way out. And it's not just your income tax that could go up. President Biden's plan also includes increasing estate tax, which means the legacy you leave for your loved ones could be a lot smaller than you had planned. So now, more than ever, is a time for you to be proactive instead of reactive with your retirement planning. That's why you should call Alfie Townsend right now, before it's too late. Call 239-747-1080. Alfie is Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional, and he'll make sure that no part of your financial life is overlooked when planning for retirement. And that includes taxes. Find out what the new administration can mean for your retirement with help from Alfie, and he'll make sure that you're well positioned for whatever changes may come. Call Alfie now, 239-747-1080.
Welcome back to Saving the Investor, and we're talking with Greg Nussbickle, who is an attorney here in Southwest Florida. And Greg, we are going to talk, I think a great segment today would be talking about asset protection. You know, we deal with high net worth clients, and we want to do everything we can to protect their assets, you know, from creditors, from probate. And there's a lot of people out there that would love to sue. What are some of the techniques that you use in your firm that can do that?
Well, first we'd like to take a look at what they have. So some things that they own may have legal protection in the state of Florida just because it's your homestead, for instance. So your primary residence has a lot of protection against lawsuits and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, annuities, and life insurance are going to have some protection for the individual that owns it. And what we might look at is how to continue that protection after they're gone so that when their loved ones inherit it, that it's going to continue to be safe from all that.
Okay, so not just, that's nice, because a lot of times people inherit things, and then when they inherit, then you're saying it opens up a can of worms in some cases.
Exactly. Like an inherited IRA, for instance, is not protected from that person's creditors and claimants and bill collectors the way that it is when you're building up your own IRA. So that's a planning opportunity, and there's ways that we can address that. There are certain types of trusts that can be used to receive those benefits in a way that protects but also has good tax treatment with the required minimum distributions and having those stretched out. So we try to cover it from all sides.
So we want to look at, IRAs are protected in a sense, but then we want to look at it when you're no longer here and your children receive it, how we can protect it for them. And then there's other things that's not protected, though, and these are some of the asset classes that aren't, you named some of the things that are protected, but there are a lot that's not protected. So there are ways to protect that. Maybe limited LLCs and
absolutely. So depending on the type of asset, depending most importantly on the client's wishes and their risk tolerance, you could set up an entity like a corporation or an LLC, and you can segment the risk. You can set up an irrevocable trust, which allows you to kind of get assets outside of your name in a way that would protect them from anyone coming after you. The key on a lot of these things is to make sure you're doing this planning before the problems arise, because if you've already got that lawsuit or that claim brewing, it's not really going to help.
Yeah, that makes sense. So there is planning that can be done, and that's the thing. If you plan now, it's like, do things now so you don't have to do things later, because when you do things later, it's a lot like you're trying to make up these mistakes that you made along the way, and it's hard to do. So definitely be proactive instead of reactive, because when you're reacting, you're really pretty much just fixing things that you could have done so much better.
Yeah, your options are going to be a lot more limited when the problem is already on the horizon. If you do it before any of these issues arise, then you have a good chance of really protecting everything you have.
And one last thing, I would say that we have a new administration. Taxes will most likely go up, but estate taxes is not a guarantee that it's going to be what it is right now. Right now is a great time, would you say, and you have a team of attorneys that you partner with that specialize in taxes, tax planning. asset allocation or asset protection. But if you look at the way that taxes are right now for large estates, would be a good time to start, getting some of that money out of their name. Because if they can do that and the estate taxes go down in the future, which it looks like all indications that they're going to do, then you're just saving a ton of money for your heirs and for yourself. And you look, you worked hard for your money, and you're just taking the laws as they are and utilizing them. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, and now is the perfect time. We have historic high exemptions from an estate tax standpoint, so we can utilize that to get assets outside of your taxable estate now so that they won't be counted against you later on. And that also takes the growth outside of what would be counted against you, and you get the added protection in many instances of protecting against those creditors too. So you can get a twofer on some of these things. But again, you got to do it while the time is right.
I love it. Well, listen, thank you very much for sharing. This is important information.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if you want to know more about asset protection, you can see there's a lot of strategies out there. Give us a call and see if we can help you with that.
Ready to live your retirement dreams? Then it's time to meet Alfie, Southwest Florida's certified financial planner. Schedule your complimentary retirement income plan review now. Give Alfie a call, 239-747-1080.
Retirement gives you long-awaited opportunities. You finally gain control over how you spend your time. But you also need control of your investments, of your hard-earned money. There are a lot of moving parts, and just saving over the years is the first part. What about generating income, your Social Security, minimizing taxes, or managing risk? If you save for retirement, call us at 239-747-1080. Retirement can last more than 20 years, yet many people don't have enough money saved to get through 1 decade, let alone 2. Call us at 239-747-1080. Let us show you how to make your nest egg go the distance. That's 239-747-1080.
Mondo Uomo specializes in remarkable clothing for the remarkable man. Like our exclusive selection of Bugatti and St. Croix shirts and sweaters. Visit our store in Naples at the Village on Venetian Bay or online at mondouomo.com. Mondo Uomo offers a remarkable selection of the latest styles in menswear. Visit Mondo Uomo at the Village on Venetian Bay in Naples. Alberto, Bugatti, St. Croix, Zanella. Come see what remarkable shopping is all about.